All right, now let's move on to the other particular report. As this time around, the promotion of renewable energy and energy efficiency program supports strategies to increase access to clean energy in rural and peri-urban areas. In a meeting dubbed Get Together for all solar companies and beneficiaries of Sendea networks, stakeholders say that this entails support to a concurrent policy framework, improvement of market development, skills development for technicians, among others. Pedison Mumbere brings you this report.
Available literature shows that the historical growth of solar market in Uganda is as a result of low access to electricity, mainly due to supply-side limitations. However, the level of solar energy utilization in Uganda is still low. Today, in a meeting of solar companies and beneficiaries of Sendea network, experts encouraged Ugandans to embrace solar energy, for it reduces the cost of production in food production and security.
We know Uganda has hydropower, but we also know the somehow high rates of the Yaka rates, and so we've discovered that most of the rural people, they don't want to pay monthly charges because they don't have a monthly income. They only have seasonal farming, which comes after 3 months or 4, and then sometimes the seasons are not good. So they prefer buying a standalone system that will help them to go through without paying every time. Or even if they buy it on credit, they know that after 1 year, they will be owning it.
The advantage of solar is it's a really decentralized solution. You don't need an electric grid. You need to have a costly grid. You have your decentralized solar system, and this makes you independent, and the sun is giving you power more reliable than any electrical grid. It's also in Germany now that more and more people start thinking, let's disconnect from the grid, because we have our battery, we have our solar panel. Why we need the grid? We are independent. We don't pay to our utility. And in Uganda, it's even better because there are a lot of areas where no grid is. And it's too costly to finance the grid extension to all huts all over Uganda. It's less costly and more reliable if you use decentralized solar solutions. And the hydro is important for the big cities like Kampala.
Reports show that Uganda has the lowest electricity consumption per capita in the world. Consumption of electricity is partly affected by high tariff. Uganda has one of the highest electricity tariffs in the world, especially commercial, and industry tariffs negatively affect production. Therefore, cheap electricity for commercial and industrial enterprises is needed to boost production and employment, especially in agro-processing industries, since Uganda heavily depends on agriculture. Stakeholders therefore say that solar energy can cover up if farmers get specialized technicians to install for them appropriately.
So, if Uganda is to achieve its dream, its vision of Vision 2040, of achieving 5,000 megawatts of solar energy, everyone has to be at the forefront. Everyone has to work to implement solar in their lives. Solar can be invested on your houses, solar can be invested in workplaces, can be invested in factories, even at large scale by the government. So, for Uganda to avoid the challenges of solar, of energy insecurity, what I mean by energy insecurity is suffering the fluctuations of the prices in the fuels, maybe fluctuations in the river levels, because we rely mainly on hydro. With solar, we are sure that we'll have energy on a daily basis. But I would urge the Ugandans that if you're going for solar, please get a professional and certified technician to help install and design your system.
Energy per se is a very important input in agricultural production, in food production. Renewable energy, however, is becoming increasingly important because of its relevance and the benefits. One, the cost of energy determines or influences the cost of production of agriculture, of food. If the cost of fuel, for instance, the fossil fuel is high, then this is translated in the food prices. And food price volatility is a consequence of the cost of the energy which is used in production. So Sandy is promoting renewable energy to try and help increase the production and productivity of agriculture in Uganda and also food, because renewable energy is relatively cheap, it is easily accessible, it is clean energy, it contributes to sustainable agricultural production and sustainable food systems in the world.
According to the National Planning Authority Report 2020, despite the presence of elaborate legal, institutional and legislative framework, the energy access gap keeps widening. Policymakers fear that the country may not attain the global energy access goal. Currently, the government is emphasizing the need to increase investment in alternative renewable technologies, particularly in solar systems. However, the current market potential for solar system is not known. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24